welcome to Recipe for the Day, and it comes to you from www.kitchennewbie.com.
And today we are doing...
You are making a cold-busting tagine.
You know, like we've been ill.
Certainly have. We're still not all that brilliant.
It's been horrible, absolutely horrible. And then, when you've been ill, that's really been bad, and it kind of lingers, and you need things to actually stop it from lingering longer.
Yes, you do.
Linger longer. So this is my answers to that. Really.
It's all the various ingredients that keep you healthy
Build
or
you up.
actually stop you from being poorly.
The basic idea is that, in essence, well, first of all, I'm a fan of fermented food,
I know you
like
are.
beer and wine.
That's drink, not food.
Well, my next door neighbour, Sean, he's dead now, but Sean,
Because he drank too much.
he used to drink Guinness. Most of his food was Guinness. So he'd leave work. He was an engine driver. And he'd finish work and go straight in the Garden's Arms in Moston, spend the whole night there. And then he'd have a load of Guinness for his dinner, a load of Guinness for the rest of the night.
No wonder he's dead.
He'd probably have about 20 pints of Guinness during the course of a day. But anyway, nice man. Didn't see much of him.
What's this got to do
But
with
anyway,
our food?
yeah, well, yeah. Well, fermented food, beer can be a food. I mean...
We're not talking about beer. Let's talk about food. It's recipe for the day.
Edible food, beer
Yes.
stuff. Beer stuff.
We'll do talking about beer.
I'm a bit obsessed with beer right now.
Because you've
Perhaps
not had
I'm
any for
thirsty.
ages.
No, but... so, yeah, like things like sauerkraut
Yeah, you
is
like
really
that,
good
don't
for you. It's excellent for you. And in this particular case, for this recipe, fermented lemon. And we've done it several times.
I thought we called it preserved lemon. Is that
Preserved
the same?
lemon, yeah, but it ferments in the jar. You salt it,
Yeah.
and then in the jar it's fermenting away. It's loads of salt. And you think to yourself, well, with all of that salt, it's got to be kind of inert, dead, complete. But it's not. There's good bacteria in there, working away, producing good stuff for you. And
Well, anyway.
one of the ingredients is a big fermented lemon, and if you can only buy the little ones, use 2. So that's one of the first things. The other thing is apple cider vinegar. Is so good for you that, for example, they do recommend that you actually put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water every now and again and drink it.
Yeah.
Because it's so very,
I mean,
very
we
good
do know for
you.
a fact that it does our chickens good.
It does the chickens
When
good,
they've
yes.
had a bad time, or they've not been,
Yeah.
or they come into that time when they shed all the feathers, and at the end of when they start getting them back
the
together,
moult, yeah.
they can look a bit lethargic. So cider vinegar
Brightens them up.
in
no
their
end.
water.
Yeah,
Just
makes them
we just
happy.
put a teaspoon in it,
Yeah.
and they actually love it.
They
don't
love it. Oh yeah, they do well on it. But this is a tagine, and I called it a terrine yesterday. You can tell how poorly I was. It was going to be a lamb tagine, but when we got to the shops to buy the lamb,
There wasn't
it
much
was
left,
so
was there?
expensive,
Very expensive.
that I wasn't prepared to spend like £8 on enough lamb. Diced lamb, very fatty diced lamb. I like fat, but you know. So it became beef and lamb tagine.
Doesn't matter what it is,
But it
does
doesn't matter now. So I'll go
Do
to...
chicken tagine.
Yeah, it could be anything.
That's very good for you.
Yeah,
Chicken.
absolutely.
You got cold.
Yeah.
But we'd had that a couple of days ago.
So you need... Oh, the other thing is garlic.
Lots of garlic.
Lots and lots of garlic. Now, don't worry if you think that you can't go picking up having had this dish because of the smell of garlic.
Picking up, that's... Tell your age. You're picking up, dear me. Are you picking up?
Because nobody's going to want to kiss you anyway because you've got a streaming cold. So it doesn't really matter. So you need 2 large well-chopped onions and 6 cloves of garlic. Now, garlic doesn't smell of anything when it's fresh and when it's not damaged. The garlicky flavour and also the important molecule, allicin, is only produced when the garlic is actually bruised.
Yeah.
When the thing's damaged, then this is a protection for the plant. It becomes a protection from us. So what you do, you peel your garlic, put your blade on the top of it, smash it.
I'll put it in your garlic crusher.
Yeah.
I tend to grate mine.
Yeah, well, or grate it, but smash it and then chop it finely. And then you'll get the flavour, but that's...
You also get
flavour
the
means full of allicin, and that's really useful stuff.
It's an antibiotic, isn't it?
Yeah. You need a preserved lemon and a thumb-sized piece of ginger, which again is another really important thing. No, my thumb, not your thumb.
Yeah, I know, about 4 centimetres. You've got long thumbs. Mine's only about 3 centimetres.
No, but a good chunk of it, and grate it really
that's
fine.
Very good for your cold
It's
well.
really good for you. And then we've got 300 grams of lamb, because that was a fortune in itself, and 400 grams of diced beef.
This serves 6 people.
Oh, easily 6 people. So a teaspoon of turmeric.
Oh, that's
again good for you.
Yeah.
A teaspoon of cinnamon.
Good for you.
Good for you. 3 teaspoons of paprika. Good for you. You don't like it so much, but yeah.
I do. I don't like the smoked one very much. I like it in some things, but not.
Yeah. 3 large tomatoes, large as you can get, quartered. So you're putting chunks of tomato in there. 2 chili peppers chopped up fine, 1 green, 1 red. Had a nice hot hit.
It did have.
Yes, a nice hot hit. And if you've got a sore throat, the hot hit actually anaesthetises your throat. So that was good. 2 or 3 large bell peppers, chopped very roughly. A large handful of raisins. A large handful of sultanas. A large handful of apricots.
Chopped up.
50 mils of apple cider vinegar. 400 mils, 2 times 400 mils, so 800 mils of chopped tomatoes. In other words, 2 tins.
Cans, yeah.
And then some good quality stock to top it up. Now this is a slow cooker job, and you can do it in any form that you like. You can have it either in your ordinary slow cooker, your Mr. D's cooker, anything you like.
Or just in your oven.
Or even just in your oven. A very low light.
Low light,
Yeah, now if you're going to cook it in your slow cooker, stick it on medium and then leave it for 4 or 5 hours to cook nicely. So what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to, in a little bit of oil, put our onions and our garlic in to get going. Now I like to have my heat on low. Obviously it's hot in the pan, but when we put the onions and also the garlic in there, they're going to be cold, so it's going to cool it down, and they fry slowly. You don't end up with burnt bits of onion, which you don't want. You don't want that bit of flavour in there at all. And when you've done that, you're going to add your ginger, and so you should have a really nice oily, flavoured mix of ginger, garlic, and onion. And then in goes your meat, and you're going to brown off all of your meat around, making sure that it's all coated, really well put together and coated and nicely. And then the rest of it is very, very simple. Once your meat is nicely coated up and browning off nicely, we're going to add all of our spices. The turmeric, the cinnamon, the paprika, and the chilies, and give them a good mix together. Now,
can I just say, if you have a ramekin or a very small dish,
yeah,
do that with your powdered
Yeah, and you can add the whole lot in
spices
one
together.
go. Yeah.
And then add that because you get a better blend of flavours.
I didn't do that, but that's a brilliant idea.
No, but that's what I always do.
Yeah.
I do it if I'm making a curry as well.
Yeah, an excellent notion. And then in with your tomatoes, your tinned tomatoes,
And
your
stock.
bell peppers, and your fruit. Everything goes in the ACV, the apple cider
There's
vinegar.
no real sort of...
There's no cooking technique
difficult,
going
no.
on here. This is just
stirring it
chuck
all
it
in
in
together.
a pan, basically. And then you're going to, once you've got that, you don't want it too wet, but at the same time, you don't want it too dry either. So put a lid on it, and if you're doing it on the stove top, turn the heat right down and leave it for 4 hours, stirring every now and again.
Yeah.
Now, if you've not got enough liquid to cover all of your bits and pieces, add some stock extra, some good quality beef stock, chicken stock,
Or a bit of water.
or even water will
Yeah.
do. Yeah, but I like to use stock.
But 800 grams of tomato should give off enough.
It does, but
liquidity.
But then again, I mean, I added probably about 2 cups of stock,
Right.
2 hours, and it wasn't over wet really.
No. And if you want to thicken it, you could always dust your meat with a bit of flour and
You
fry
could thicken it with
Yeah.
flour on your meat,
Or a bit of corn flour or
you could use a
bisto.
bit of corn flour, or you could add other things like some lentils to it,
Yeah.
or loads of different ways of the.
If you're going to add lentils, I would add about 80 to 100 grams of dried lentils.
Yeah. So if you're going to cook this in the oven, I'd stick it in the oven on gas mark 2,
Yeah.
which is 300 degrees, 150 is it?
Yeah.
And then 150 Celsius, and then leave that for
Well
the rest
covered
of
up.
the afternoon, covered up so that it's... And check it every now and again.
Yeah.
But it should be perfectly fine at that.
To be left for 3-4 hours.
And if you're going to use your...
If you're slow cooker, if it's on medium, I would say leave it for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I think that would be... I mean, you can leave it for as long as you want,
You need
really,
quite a
but
big
it
slow cook.
needs-
You need quite a big one for this, don't you?
Yeah.
Because it's probably about
Oh, it'd fit in our...
nearly 3 litres.
It'd
this,
fit
yeah.
into most
Yeah.
slow cookers. That
Right.
The crock pot would easily hold that.
Now, I didn't do this bit because you did it, because it was the easy bit.
Some couscous.
The couscous. How did we do it?
Well, you just... Whatever the packet says, basically. It's usually, I think it's about 100 grams of couscous to 150 grams of boiling water, something like that. But it's whatever the packet says, basically. But I find it much easier to cook couscous than rice.
Couscous.
Yeah, because you put your amount of couscous that you want in a bowl, and then pour the right amount or correct amount of boiling water over the top. Just give it I use a fork or a knife, not a spoon, to stir it.
Right.
And then put a plate over it, and then leave it for about 10 minutes. And
And it
it's,
just
then
basically...
you just use a fork to separate it, and it's
Right.
all done. So there's no cooking even hardly in that. So it's a nice, easy meal. Once you've done your initial bits, you just can leave it, because it was just so easy, wasn't it?
Your initial bit takes probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's only the chopping up and
thereabouts.
bits of
It's chopping
frying,
up and chucking it
yeah.
in, basically. So
And I think it's a good meal to put into your slow cooker, then go to work, and if you put it on low, so it's all day stuff, or
it's
your
on
thermal
probably
cooker
10 hours then, isn't it?
for all day. So you've got a meal to come home
In
to.
the thermal cooker, it starts off at 100 degrees, because you've got it simmering. And then after 4 hours, it was still piping hot. You couldn't just test it. You had to blow on the
still
spoon.
was hot. Yeah.
So it was probably well into the 90s.
And that was 4 hours after that.
That was
wasn't
after
it, that
4
you
hours.
tested it?
And literally the meat was falling apart. So, and in essence, that's how you want it to be.
But there's lots more recipes coming for your slow cooker and your thermal cooker.
Because of our new slow
because
cooker
we're
and
doing
thermal
a book.
cooker book.
Yeah, this is all in preparation
Yeah.
for that new book that's going
But
to
it was also in
to be
preparation of
available.
trying to get rid of this. It's damn cold. It's been
This
awful.
one particularly wasn't
Yeah.
it? You designed it specifically for that reason.
Good stuff, and it tasted nice too.
And you look very well on it.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Recipe for the Day podcast. We hope to see you sometime at www.kitchennewbie.com. Kitchen Newbie is a kind of online cookery school which hopes to help people new to cooking, and you will find lots of easy recipes and techniques. So, why not pop down and have a look? We're new, there's lots to do, but we'd love to see you just the same.